Today we're going to take a look at the Honda Pioneer 520. We'll talk about where this utility side-by-side fits in Honda's current model lineup, and we'll go over some of its specs and features. We'll also talk about what sets it apart from the Pioneer 500, as that's what it started out as originally, but Honda decided to keep the 500 around after the 520 update as another cheaper alternative. And we'll start it up so you can hear what it sounds like and a lot more. But first, if you guys find any info in this video helpful, please take a second and hit the like button. Liking the video and commenting below really helps with growing this channel through YouTube's algorithm, and I really appreciate the help, guys. So first up, where does the Pioneer 520 fit into Honda's current utility side-by-side lineup? Now keep in mind, these are all 2021 model years we're talking about, as we're still just a little ways out from the 2022 lineup announcement. Plus, we'll be doing videos on each model, so this is just a quick run through of where the 520 stacks up. First up, all of these utility models are called Pioneers, so we'll just say the engine size as we breeze through them. And first up is the Pioneer 500 at $84.99, and then you jump up to the 520 at $94.99. Then you have the 700 models starting at $10,999 and two 704 models at $12,399. Then you move up to the 1000 models, and you have four of those starting at $15,899, and finishing up with the Pioneer 1000 lineup are four 1005 models that start at $17,299. So the model we're looking at today is the second cheapest side-by-side in Honda's current lineup. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to Southern Honda Powersports for opening their doors to me and allowing me to come pick through their inventory for these videos. They are a massive Honda Powersports dealer here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with tons of inventory from new Hondas to used Harleys and everything in between that they sell to people from all over the USA. So check out the link in the description below and head over to their website to see if they can save you some money on your next toy. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into a little more info on the Pioneer 520. First up will be the options and pricing. Technically, the only options you have come in the way of colors. You have this Reactor Blue, Red, Olive, and then Phantom Camo for 2021. Pricing puts you at $94.99 unless you opt for the Camo, and then you jump up $600 to $10,099. And before we dive into the details on the 520, let's touch on what accessories have been installed on this unit, as it's not exactly stock, and the info we'll be covering throughout the video is on a stock unit. The Pioneer 520 we're walking around today has a set of 14-inch fuel Maverick wheels, and they are wrapped with EFX MotoMax 27x10 tires all the way around. You also have Super ATV's flip windshield, which I have to say is pretty cool and better than Honda's accessory windshield, but there is a downfall. If you want to get in the front, it's not as easy thanks to it being mounted up against it, so you can't just turn the two fasteners and get in there quickly like you normally can. It also has a worn winch and Honda's aluminum A-arm guards up front and in the rear. There are quite a few accessories directly from Honda to outfit these machines, and of course, you also have the aftermarket world where you can lose even more of your money if you're into modifying these things, but be careful. It is very easy to go overboard on these things. Now let's jump into the engine and drivetrain. It has the same 518cc fuel-injected engine you'll find in the Foreman and Rubicon ATV models, with slightly different tuning. Its bore and stroke comes in at 96 by 75.3 millimeters, which is 4 millimeters and 3.8 millimeters larger than the Pioneer 500 model's 475cc engine, resulting in a small increase in low to mid-range power and torque. That power is fed directly to the front and rear drive shafts with no CVT belt drive like you'll find on most models out there. For the transmission, it has a 5-speed automatic setup, and you can choose to go through the gears manually if you want via the paddle shifters on the steering wheel by clicking up and down, so it's super easy to operate. All you have to do is put the drive selector on MT, then you're in manual, and you can click up and down with the left and right paddle shifters, and then it lets you know via the gear position indicator exactly what gear you're in. Then if you have it in AT for automatic mode, it'll show a D on the gauges to let you know that you can just hit the gas and go. Plus you can still use your paddle shifters to shift up or down while in automatic mode. One thing to keep in mind here, the 520 shift mapping has been tuned to upshift at lower engine speeds when compared to the 500. Plus, the calibration has been adjusted to optimize shift shock, and manually overriding auto mode is possible now through a wider RPM range. The paddle shifters are also how you select reverse. All you have to do is pull this little lever out and click the left paddle shifter, and that engages reverse. To take it out of reverse, just click the right upshift paddle and you're back in neutral. You also have your two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive mode selector knob as well right here on the dash. Now Honda does recommend you come to a stop before changing that, so keep it in mind. And yup, still no diff lock here guys, but Honda has filed some patents showing a diff lock option on this machine, so it might be coming down the pipeline very soon. And this engine package helps deliver a 1,000-pound towing capacity. And last but not least, per usual with Honda, it won't break the bank to maintain this drivetrain combo, as you can see here from the maintenance schedule in the owner's manual. And next up, let's jump into the chassis and suspension. Most of the 520's physical dimensions are identical to those on the 500, but you do have some slight differences here and there. The 520's overall length is now 2.4 inches longer at 105 inches, but the wheelbase is still 73 inches. Most importantly, its width has stayed the same at 50 inches. Why is that important? It opens you up to a lot of trails that are limited to 50 inches, and you can squeeze this thing in the bed of most full-size pickup trucks. You also have independent double wishbone suspension, front and rear, with the front suspension travel coming in at 5.8 inches compared to the 500 at 5.9. Then in the rear, they both are matching with 5.9 inches of travel with preload adjustability. The 520 also had improvements made to the shock damping for increased comfort and control. You have disc brakes all the way around with a dual 200mm disc up front and a single 170mm disc in the rear. Now, one of the party pieces on the 520 over the 500 is that you now have a dump bed finally, and its capacity comes in at 450 pounds. All you have to do is push down on this lever and up she goes. The bed dimensions come in at 25.9 inches long by 38.7 wide and 9.8 inches high. It has recess rings for 5-gallon buckets, ridges to help position milk crates, and slots to hold a wood divider and 5 D-rings for tie-downs. Plus you have cup holder rings in the tailgate and a slew of Honda's Pro Connect compatible accessories that are designed to be used around the bed to help improve its overall functionality. And next up are the wheels and tires, which also set it apart from the 500. You still have 12-inch wheels, but they are sporting a new, longer-wearing, all-terrain tire, size 24x8 up front and 24x10 in the rear. And now let's hop into a few numbers around the 520. It has a curb weight of 1,065 pounds, and that's full of all fluids ready to ride. You have a 4.1-gallon fuel tank, and since so many measurements stayed the same as the 500, it kept the same tight 12.8-foot turning radius too. Ground clearance also stays the same at 8.5 inches, and the overall height shrinks from 71.3 to 71.2 inches, while the seat height stays the same at 27.7 inches. And now let's start it up and show you what it sounds like, and then we'll come back here for a few more things. and that's the Honda Pioneer 520. Would I rather have the Pioneer 500 or pay an extra $1,000 for the 520? In my opinion, the 520 is well worth the extra $1,000. When you start to add up all of the nitty-gritty differences and pair that up with driving them both back to back, I think the 520 is where it's at, but you're also starting to creep into the base model Pioneer 700 price range. But that's another video entirely, as I'm sure I've bored you guys enough in this video. Let me know what you guys think though. Do you like the changes Honda threw at the 520? What else do you think Honda needs to change to really bring this smaller 50-inch side-by-side to the next level? And are you wanting to see a diff lock and power steering as well, or would you just buy the Pioneer 700 at that point? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I'll be joining in on the conversation too. And on that note, that's a wrap for this video. Thanks again for all the support lately. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next one.